leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me I'm most relentless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Film Optix, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and everything pop culture related. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my co-host and my good friend, Devin. How was your week?
It's been quite a good another week. It's now June 16th. It's Wednesday, June 16th, right now.
It is.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. Our clothing.
We are a variant. We are currently a variant in that timeline.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So, yes, this is Wednesday, June 16th, on the Film Optix podcast. Pay no attention to people watching on YouTube if we're wearing the exact same thing as we wore last week. We're just that good.
Yep.
No, but yeah, we are recording 2 episodes back to back. So this episode will be dropping on the 16th next on the day that you're listening to this, on the 16th of June. So and before we begin today's episode, which we will be covering Loki episode 2, but we don't know the name of the episode of episode 2 because we watched episode 1 and 2 back to back last week. And when we got the screeners, it doesn't come with the episode number, the times. We got the run times for you guys, but not the actual episode title. So we're just gonna have to label this one Loki episode 2, which is totally fine. And I actually forgot to read the synopsis last week. There's not much to it. The story reads a new Marvel chapter with Loki at its center.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Yeah. Cast Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, excuse me. Wow. And Sophia Martino. Sophia D. Martino, excuse me. It's on Disney Plus and released last week on June 9th. So this is the future. We're in the future right now, recording this episode. It's going to be fun, but no news this week. Like we said, we're recording these back to back. So we kind of already covered all the news topics from last week. I'm like, maybe we probably should have split it up, but that's okay. It is what it is. Let's just dive straight on into this episode. Of course, we will be doing a non-spoiler section first for all of you who have not seen the episode yet. And then once you hear this lovely little alert, that means that we're going to be going into the spoiler section of this podcast, this episode. So episode 2, Devin, give me your thoughts.
We somehow got more Loki this episode.
Yes, we did.
Everyone was craving for it, and we got more of the God of Mischief. I thought it was a great episode. I mean, Loki and Owen Wilson's character have this great, like, true detectives dynamic going on.
Yeah.
They're working with each other as these basically time detectives or time cops. Classic.
You got the young renegade and the scruffy old.
Yeah, the old veteran and the young guy who thinks he knows everything. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. it's pretty much what was it? Oh my gosh. I'm blanking on the name of the Lethal Weapon in a way. Yeah. Kind of that little buddy cop situation going on. But as we've learned from last week's episode, which I actually kind of forgot to mention, we learned that they are hunting a variant that is Loki.
Yeah, that was the big reveal of last episode, that Loki is who they're hunting, and they're using Loki to hunt Loki. And Loki thinks he's the best Loki, so he's trying to prove that they're hunting Loki.
Yeah, he's trying to prove that the Loki that they're hunting is inferior to the version that he is. So we really don't know who the original Loki is, because apparently there are multiple Lokis out there. And
yeah, last episode we had the DB Cooper Loki, which was great.
man. Totally forgot to mention that on the episode, but it's all right. We're mentioning it this week, and that's all that freaking matters. Yeah, and we find out a lot of different things about the time stream and how and kind of how everything.
There were a lot of cool conversations between Loki and the Owen Wilson character. A lot of cool dialogue between them this episode. they got pretty philosophical and theological in this episode.
Yeah, with
some religious undertones.
Yeah, and we'll definitely dive into that more of the spoiler section. But yeah, I really like I like you said last week, you know, like I really like the world building. I really like these new characters, the time cops. This show is really giving me Umbrella Academy vibes with Five and him working for his organization that I'm blanking the name on right now. But you know, like you said, they're time cops. They're trying to make sure that every natural disaster goes the way that it does. And we find out later on in the episode a few hidden gems. It's really, really hard to talk about, not give away spoilers.
Let's just dive in.
Okay. That's totally fine. So if you haven't seen Loki episode 2 yet, which I'm assuming a lot of you have, especially you 3 a.m. weekend of the 3 a.m. warriors, you YouTubers, Zach and Leo out there who are, you know, they are married to the game. They're dedicated to the crafts when it comes to this, because they will literally stay up as soon as it drops, watch, shoot, edit, record, or in not order, obviously, but it I can do it. I thought about doing it for WandaVision. I was like, I just can't.
It would only be 2:00 for us.
That is true.
But still.
I would have to like not have worked.
And it's a Wednesday now, not a Friday anymore.
Yeah. Like I would not have had to have worked on Friday in order to like do one, because I thought about it. I was like, maybe we could do like a late at night like WandaVision, just record and then drop, but I don't know. It is what it is. All right, let's get into spoilers.
Maybe one of our variants does that.
Maybe. I mean, aren't we technically the variants, or are we? I really don't know. I
am the superior one.
Jesus, man, this episode was so it really just heightened my expectation for the next 4 weeks, because crap hits the fan. It really just does. So let's get into our spoiler section. So again, this is the spoiler section of Loki episode 2.
Lady Loki.
We
get the reveal almost right away. Episode 2.
Dude, she is crafty. Like, oh my god. Like, I mean, yeah, like Loki's crafty, and they've kind of become desensitized to Loki's, mischief.
Well, we are saying Lady Loki, but we actually don't know what they're gonna call her yet, because when Loki called her Loki, she was like, "Oh, I hate that name." So she could be something else.
That's right. I need to. Well, I think it's still on the screener. I need to go back and rewatch both of these episodes, because I watched them a few days ago. So it's like my memory is a bit spotty, but Devin talking about it is helping me me remember everything. But yeah, Lady Loki is so, oh my gosh, like
she's 10 steps ahead of the guy who's 10 steps ahead.
Literally 20 steps by this point. I was like, I love how he's changing in a way, because he's in a place where everyone just trumps him, and they know what he's up to, they know who he is, and
but he's also using that to his advantage. Yeah,
because he's trying to get to the lizard. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the all-knowing, not
the timekeepers.
Yeah, the timekeepers. Yeah, the timekeepers themselves. So he's trying to get to them, and obviously trying to get back to his own time frame, because unbeknownst to him, he broke the rules. So it's like, but he kind of knew what he was doing when he picked up that Tesseract. You know what I mean? So it's like, or maybe he was just trying to escape and go somewhere else, and he kind of like just appeared in a different time variant. which is always a great time. But I gotta say, man, like the reset bombs are kind of creepy in a way, because they're like, oh, it cleanses time mistakes that happen throughout the time stream. And
it's like if the Men in Black memory wipe stick thing was like a C4 instead.
Literally, it they say reset, but like when they say reset, it's not the same kind of reset that you would think that we are thinking. It was like, oh, like reset as in, sending them back to their own timeline. It's like, no, reset as in like wiping them from existence.
Yeah.
And we see Loki. Well, before we get into that, we Loki finds out that
I love the portions of the episode where he was like Detective Loki, like Professor Loki. He's trying to figure out how this all works. He's giving them advice on how to catch himself because he knows what he would do.
Yeah.
And also he found a loophole in their system, pretty much.
Yeah. So if it seems that that Lady Loki has been hides out or causes crazy events to happen when it comes to like catastrophic events throughout history where nothing matters, because it's like
because it's going to get wiped anyway, so you can do whatever you want up until it happens, and they won't notice because they aren't looking.
I love it how they went to Bombay.
Yeah, he's just like, be free, my horned friends.
He's like, they're all gonna die anyway. It's like, that's a good point. But yeah, I really like how he kind of figured out everything. I really do enjoy how he figured out the loophole, because he's just it's something that you wouldn't really expect from Loki. But I guess
it's when he's reading the Ragnarok file and he kind of gets emotional, but then he's like, oh wait.
That kills me, man. It still kills me from last week when like he's watching his entire life go behind his eyes, how he got his mother killed and whatnot, and it's like it bugs him, and we kind of figure out between this episode and episode 1 why he kills. It's kind of like a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
Which is what I actually really like, because
I love that he admitted that himself. That was so good.
Yeah, because it's like, someone who's cowardly like resorts to
that's how he was trying to describe the TVA, and that's exactly the description he said, but he was just kind of reflective, and he was like, oh wait, that's what I do.
Yeah. And then got to bring up the salad.
Oh yeah.
The salad theory, the metaphor. He destroyed that salad, man. I was like, okay, you put a little salt and pepper in there, whatever. And then
the juice.
Like you just wasted it. It didn't look too much like a really good salad, like if it was like a really big salad, but it was
a weird little bowl.
Yeah, it was. I was like, this is. Like you said, time works differently there, so maybe their bodies do too. I really don't know, but anything. I'm sorry, I've been ranting on. Anything else you wanted to bring up or touch on?
Yeah, I just love the chase that they're setting up. A time warping dimensional chase for a different variant of Loki that's even more ahead of Loki.
Like, dude, towards the end of that episode, like when we find out that Lady Loki can kind of like body hop in a way.
Yeah.
So like you really don't see what she looks like until later, because it's like they go to like another catastrophic event. I think it was in Georgia, Alabama. Yeah, it was like a flood that was happening, and Lady Loki kind of like drops in and out and takes over one of the timekeeper like bodyguards and whatnot. And I just thought that was a really nice way of kind of like building up as to what Lady Loki or this other Loki just looked like.
Yeah.
Because like when she was walking, I'm like, that kind of looks like a womanly figure. I was like, oh no. What if what if she put her hood down and it was like Luke Skywalker?
Oh my God.
Like, you again. You're everywhere. You're freaking everywhere. But yeah, I thought this episode was fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, she sets...
And there's a cliffhanger, too. We don't know what exactly she's doing because she set up all the bombs, but then they started teleporting.
I agree 100%.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Who's this? Who was that?
Ricky.
Oh. I was like, where did that voice come from? I'm like, oh, yeah. He jumped in the pod with us. He's been watching it as well. So, but yeah, like everyone that I've talked to when it comes to episode 2 so far, they definitely like it more than the first one. Just because it is.
I don't understand the hate the first one got. I really don't.
It's like, I don't know, man. People are weird. I mean, I understand people have concerns, but like, especially if you're not in this race, like especially after episode 2, the way that it's expanding on everything. Like this is a Loki centric story. Like we're not really seeing any other Avengers or anything of that nature, and it's just it's kind of perfect in the way of like I was really looking forward to this, and I'm glad that it is delivering on all fronts. Because, you know, even with Lady Loki, she has those the time bombs that she kind of sends out into I guess it's like multiple universes in a way. Because I'm like, I don't know what's.
And everyone's freaking out at the TVA. They're just watching it happen.
Literally, it was. I couldn't even tell. It's like if the stock market just like plummeted. Like out of nowhere, and everyone's just freaking out, or like I really couldn't even tell. It was like a catastrophic event for them. But I still wonder what, like, when Owen Wilson says, you know, time works differently here. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, he keeps saying that, so that's gonna be some kind of reveal.
Well, so do you think that Loki will be revived altogether back into the MCU, or do you think it is going to be more of a Vision situation?
Well, based on the fact that we've been hearing that this is going to be a self-contained season 1, and then there's going to be a season 2, I think it'll be passed on to a different Loki variant, and this one might have to call it a day.
Lady Loki,
maybe. Man. Kid Loki, there's so many possibilities.
Baby Vision, baby Loki. I still can't get over that baby Vision. I was like, oh, it's baby Vision growing up. What a vision. Man, I'm telling you right now. Actually, I wanted to ask, what do you think of the title card? Before I go into that point for Loki, what do you think of it so far?
I like it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Different fonts and everything.
Yeah, it was at first I was like, why is it glowing so much? And I was like, I do like the whole shifting time period type thing.
Like I kind of like the music throughout the episodes too. Like sometimes it's like really mysterious, sometimes it's like that quirky music, but sometimes it's that detective music.
Yeah, I mean, like of course, like what would this be without, like, you know, the Marvel dialogue, like the quips and whatnot. And I'm telling you,
I love when they were talking back and forth about their own existence, like, because Loki's like, how do you believe in all this stuff? And then Owen Wilson's like, well, what are you, a Norse god of mischief from Asgard? Like, how do you believe that? That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, and
it just kind of goes back to the religious ideologies. Like, you have to believe in something to help you get through what you're going through.
That is very true. And like, I love it how he kind of contemplates whether he knows if he's like not a robot.
Yeah.
He's like, why would anyone think they're a robot? That's like ridiculous. Like, what? It's like, okay, you know, you just answered your own question. So I don't know. Well, yeah, between the run times between both of these episodes so far, it's been great. Like, I think it's been paced amazing. And like, I feel like at the end of episode 2 is where we just got like everything just started to just come together.
And they're going right for it. Like Lady Loki reveal episode 2. They're not going to drag it on for multiple episodes because they don't have time to. That's what happens when you have 6 episodes. You gotta get right to it.
Well, what do you think of? What do you think of the whole 6 episode, like, just the method that they're going across all of this? Like, how does this? Like, do you think all their episodes going forward are going to be like 6 episodes? Because I mean, these are really just more big budget movie episodes. I mean, like movies that were cut into TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, we have the small sample size. This being the second one, that's 6 episodes. The first one was obviously Falcon and Winter Soldier, which they had their issues with. They had to rewrite stuff, so it wasn't as cleanly written and cleanly planned out as they would have liked. So I imagine this one, they have Michael Waldron, the writer, one of the writers from Rick and Morty. He's the head writer here.
Oh, is he? Okay.
And he's also writing Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. He's also a writer there. So he's kind of like their new golden boy, it seems like.
It seems, yeah.
Because he's setting up a lot of the future of the MCU. This show specifically ties right into Doctor Strange, ties into other things. The multiverse is a big deal. And he's kind of the one starting to tackle it.
Yeah, and we're also getting, with Spider-Man No Way Home, I mean, I really don't know what to believe with all those rumors and whatnot, because it just seems that there's just so much going on, and it's like everything is just too good to be true. It's like, I just don't know how all this is going to fit, but like, I think they are doing a really good job setting everything up for their multiverse, much like DC with The Flash, but, with Marvel, it just does seem more of an organic growth, that they're taking their time. They're trying to build these characters. Like, I mean, yes, with WandaVision, we saw the possibilities there. And then, we went to a more grounded story with Falcon and Winter Soldier, which obviously doesn't have any like ties to like magic or what we call magic. And to
the big 3.
Yeah. Well, aliens, wizards, and robots.
Androids.
Aliens, wizards, and androids. That's what it was. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I am really enjoying this so far. Like, I'm very excited for next week. Like, I want to rewatch episode 1 and 2 again, just because I've rewatched WandaVision. So it's just, God, it gets me every time. But I will never see myself watching Falcon and Winter Soldier again. Maybe for like the finale. Or when Battlestar gets linebacked by Carly Morgenthau. Oh my, I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing, but like that was so funny. I was like, dang, you knocked the wind out of this man. You literally knocked this man into the afterlife because she didn't know her own power. But maybe U.S. agent. I'm trying to figure out when he's going to show up again, So I don't know. But yeah, so do you want to get into scores, or do you have anything else you kind of wanted to touch on before we bounce on out of here?
I love the Miss Minutes appearance in this episode. She's kind of like, he's like, are you a recording or are you a real live thing? And she's like, kind of like both. he's trying to slap her and she's dodging it and then escapes into this TV screen.
Miss Minute is like fantastic. Because I like how she wasn't really a part of the material, like I guess like the promotion, I should say, to begin with, and we kind of like saw her like in the poster. I was like, oh, who's that? And we didn't really get an explanation, but yeah, she is kind of like the informant of everything, or one of the informants, I guess you can say, because Owen Wilson's character has been fantastic so far. But I'm really interested to see where the rest of the series goes, and kind of just. The MCU is back. It's weird that it's back. It doesn't feel like Loki should be out already, does it?
Yeah, it's all going by fast.
I'm not sure if that's just life or it's just life in the pandemic. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just, this past year has been weird. And I mean, this is the third show that we've gotten. I feel like they would be more spread out, like throughout the year. You know what I mean? Like quarter one, like we would got WandaVision and then Falcon, and then later on in the fall, maybe we would have gotten Loki, but we also have Shang-Chi coming out this year, don't we? Yeah. And yeah, so we have Shang-Chi, Spider-Man,
Eternals,
Black Widow. They usually only do 3 a year.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'm really glad, and also very glad that we actually get to cover Black Widow here on the podcast, because kind of happy about that one. Had a bit of a wisdom teeth scare because it was going to be that weekend. I'm like, I don't know if we're going to be able to record it. I mean, maybe. So now that that's been moved, I strategically planned it right after Suicide Squad. So
interesting.
we're good. So like later in August. So because I don't want to get into it right now, but yeah, that was episode 2. You want to get into scores?
Yeah, I mean, as far as scores go, nothing really changed. I liked it just as much as the first episode, so it's going to be an A again for me.
Dude, I don't know. I'm giving this one A+. That was
out.
That was some good stuff. Like it's there's always that one episode of every series. It's like, okay, now, like, yes, I was invested season 1, but it's like, okay, now I'm
everything's happening. It's time to go right now.
And that's how I felt with Shadow and Bone season 1. Like I really like the first episode. I thought was very, very good. Like I really enjoyed it. But like not season 2, episode 2 is like when it's like, okay, now everything. I started getting more invested into the show, and I feel like that's how it is with me and Loki, because I mean, even though this is 6 episodes versus actually I think Shadow and Bone was only 8, and I got the same feeling. It's like, just keep up the pacing. That's all we ask for Loki, please. We can't go through another Falcon and Winter Soldier debacle ever again. You can't do it. That was just it wasn't bad. It was just, I felt like besides a few episodes, like it was slow for me. I don't know what it was. I mean, I like grounded stuff, but I don't know what it was with Falcon. Maybe it's just, I'm just not that big a fan of Bucky and Sam as I thought I would be, but that's okay. Anyway, so that pretty much A+ from me, a solid A from Devin as well. And let's what do we have going on? We don't even know what's coming up on the pod this week.
In the Heights. I guess next week.
That was last week.
Yeah.
Remember, we're in the future. Oh, Luca.
Yeah.
Luca comes out this week.
The 18th.
The 18th. Since this so if you're listening to this now, go check out our In the Heights review, because it will already be up. And moving forward, we have Luca. We're kind of like, I don't know if we're gonna get screeners or not. So maybe not. Really, really sucks we can't see this in theaters.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
And like I'm not a big fan of Disney screeners, because your name's just like right there in the freaking middle of the screen. It's like, I mean, you can kind of overlook it, but it's still there.
Always there.
Like literally it just says like Christian. And I was like, it's just in my face. But Hulu is the same way. I think Amazon does it the best, and Warner Brothers, because it'll pop up for like a second and then it'll like kind of go away. Just like, I guess it's checking you, Devin. It's all online. Your Xbox One.
Yeah.
It's all online. My God. But yeah, so we have Luca coming up later this week. For the week of the 16th. I have to keep reminding myself that. And definitely go check out our E3 coverage, because that'll also already be done over on Critics Cover Games, our new video game podcast with our hosts Leo from Geekly Goods and Zach from Zach Pope over on YouTube with myself. And Devin will be joining us from time to time when he can. I know Devin's a very busy man. He's been watching Sweet Tooth. So.
Oh yeah.
But definitely go ahead and follow Critics Cover Games over on Twitter at Critics. I'm sorry, not Critics Cover. Wow, I'm butchering everything today. The podcast is called Critics Play Games. It was almost Critics Cover Games. But follow us over on Critics Play Pod over on Twitter. And definitely check out our episodes over there. That podcast is it's going to be a monthly podcast just because it's not that it's hard to keep up with gaming news. It's just we're all so preoccupied, with film industry and TV reviews. Like that is our main hustle, I guess you could say, our bread and butter. But, we still try to make room for video games. So that will be a monthly podcast, at least for now, until, if things do clear up, we can start maybe doing a bi-weekly. But, that one's the quote unquote less successful. So yeah, go follow Critics Play Pod. Critics Play Games. My God. We came up with this name a while ago over at Critics Play Pod. And of course, follow us over at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And leave us a 5-star rating and review here on Apple Podcasts because we're trying to become Rotten Tomato critics. There is a podcast requirement. We need 200 reviews. We're at 24, so we can make it. We need 200 reviews and ratings, reviews, however you want to slice it. I believe that's the main part of the requirement. But I've heard that Rotten Tomatoes can be a bit iffy. I really don't know, but we're just going to keep chugging along. So go rate us 5-star rating and review over on Apple Podcasts. Please, 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 because we want to give you guys better content. We want to give you guys just the best content that we can. This is something we've been working out for a while, and I think it's something we're good at. And, we love you guys listening in, those watching on YouTube as well. And, we love you guys. And I wish you nothing but the best. And thank you. It's been a pleasure to serve you all. But let's close out here, Devin. And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to check out the other podcasts over on MusicCityDriving.com and subscribe to our show so you never, ever, 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 ever miss an episode. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
Make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow Critics Play Games over at Critics Play Pod. Have a good night, everyone.